campus of Elmhurst College. I'm Tim Calder alongside Kevin Jude. Non-conference volleyball action on this Thursday. It is Elmhurst and the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. A couple of nationally ranked foes here. Whitewater enters the contest sitting 22nd in the most recent American Volleyball Coaches Association poll, which came out earlier today. Elmhurst hung on to a slot in the top 25 this week, sitting 25th. Elmhurst is 14-4, Whitewater 15-4. The officials will check on the alignments here before we open play in a home non-conference showdown for the Blue Jays. Now they will host 4 other non-conference opponents as part of the second Elmhurst invite, October 21st through 22nd. But this is the only actual scheduled weekday non-conference matchup. Whitewater opens on serve. Phil sets up the left side. Hannah Lesson with a swing. Knocked over by Heidi Buss. Phil back towards Caitlin Wilkes. On the scene is the libero in the back row. Whitewater's first attempt comes from Sophia Sanchez. And a double hit is called. Whitewater was saying it never got over initially, and then they called a double hit moments later anyhow.
I don't think it did, Tim. I think it was into the net on the third effort anyway. So you take your pick. 4, double hit, whatever you'd like.
Nice rally to start out the matchup. Alyssa Bauer serving for the 22nd ranked Wisconsin Whitewater Warhawks. And the side out for Elmhurst.
Taylor Rasmussen with the kill.
First opportunity for Elmhurst to serve. Hannah Lesson with the honors. Wisconsin Whitewater 15-4. They are a perfect 9-0 in the Chris Russell Volleyball Arena. Yes, the same Chris Russell who sits on the Elmhurst College bench now as a member of Julie Hall's staff. 2-1 Whitewater with the advantage. Ariel Johnston to serve, a sophomore for the Warhawks. Whitewater, one of 2 teams in the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference presently in the top 25, the other being Wisconsin-Platteville.
The Jays will have to deal with Wisconsin-Platteville this weekend. Elmhurst with some very tough competition coming up this weekend, traveling to UW-Platteville for the Pioneer Tournament, where they'll also run into Carthage College from the CCIW and Wartburg, a rematch from earlier this year.
A lift is called. Elmhurst took care of Wartburg in 4 sets. Carthage, a 4-set victory over the Blue Jays in the last CCIW broadcast we had for you here on Blue Jay TV. Elmhurst did record a victory over Augustana this week in 4 sets. As the Blue Jays in the process, evening their CCIW record at 2-2. Rasmussen will set it up for Zarmak, and it drops in.
Whitewater riding a 7-match winning streak into this tournament, Tim. You mentioned UW Whitewater, just 4 losses, their most recent coming to a Wisconsin WIAC opponent. That was UW Stevens Point, where they lost 3-0. They had started out by winning their first 4 matches, then ran into all kinds of trouble at the Washington University invite. Get to that in a minute.
Zarmak winds up, kept alive, set back towards Sarah Bisi, who ties the score at 4 apiece. Wash U, currently one of the top teams in the nation. Always a tough invitational there.
Well, it was a Washington University National invite. They started with a win against Ohio Northern, and then they ran into a buzzsaw that was Christopher Newport, Washington from St. Louis, and then Carthage, losing all 3 of those in 3.
Megan Reynolds dug out by Nobilio and ended in the middle.
Extremely rare to see a UW Whitewater team lose 3 matches in a row, but that's exactly what happened to them at the start of the year. But since then, they've had a very good streak, winning 10 of their last 11 matches.
Nobilio serving for the Warhawks. Reynolds aims short. Will tick around off the net and work its way over it. Phil on the left side for Zarmak short. Nobilio dives in. Blocked at the net. Reynolds has a swing and miss.
A little too long that time for Megan Reynolds, aiming for the back row. She had the libero in towards the front and tried to put it in the back and just sent it over that end line.
Elmhurst 3-3 at home. Losses in CCIW play to Carthage and Milliken, both in 4 sets. The other loss to the University of Chicago, a top 25 program, also in 4 sets. They own victories over Dominican, Beloit, and Lake Forest here at R.A. Faginal Hall.
Good read that time by Sam Zarmak, electing to just go short over the blockers.
5-5. Marcy Novak is in to serve. Set back towards Nobilio. Phil up the left side, called for a double hit. 6-5 the count in the first set. Whitewater with the advantage. The Warhawks in the purple. The Blue Jays in the two-tone blue. Sophia Sanchez on serve for the 22nd ranked team in the nation. Phil with a back set towards Novak. Short. Nobody home. Whitewater rotated over to try to set up for the block, and Novak just slid it past them, dropping it into an opening. 6-6. Zarmak standing deep. Medium depth serve. Lilji has it blocked. Seven 6 Elmhurst edge in the first. Zarmak serving again. 20 aces this year, second on the Elmhurst squad. For the first time, we have a 2-point advantage here in the opening set.
Question here on the call. Looks like the ball was out. The line judge had the flag indicating a block. Let's see if that's what we're going to see or not. Official talking over with the line judge. See if he saw a deflection off of Elmhurst. Nope. Belongs in Elmhurst point still.
Elmhurst is the top team at the net in the CCIW. 160 assisted blocks, 55 solo for a total of 135. Or 2 1/4 per set. 8-6 advantage. On the scene is Novak. Short attempt from Reynolds. Punched airborne by Troutman, and it couldn't make its way over the net. A 9-6 Elmhurst lead in the first. Still Sam Zarmak serving. The freshman out of St. Charles. One of the only freshmen to crack the Elmhurst lineup this year with an error. And a side out to Whitewater. Kelly Troutman is on serve. Antonia V.C. Smith steps up and drops it in.
Blue Jays have never had the greatest of luck with Wisconsin-Whitewater, Tim. This is the 26th meeting between the two teams, and Whitewater's dominated, winning 21 of the 25. Elmer's just 4 and 21.
Elmhurst in the net. Heidi Buss will serve. Buss, a sophomore setter. Attacking Perry Morgan. V.C. Smith steps up. And Antonia V.C. Smith makes it an 11-8 Elmhurst advantage.
Back-to-back kills for V.C. Smith, this time utilizing the Warhawk block to send it out of bounds.
She's been very strong off of the bench for the Blue Jays this year.
All-conference performer in her freshman year.
Sitting second on the squad in kills with 128 on the season. And it's a side out for Whitewater. Alyssa Bauer serving. DuPage County product out of Naperville. Prepped at Naperville Central High School. And Aaron Thill reaches over the top. Trying to do something with the over off the serve. Whitewater within 1, 11-10 first set. V.C. Smith receives the serve and then steps up. V.C. Smith with another for the Blue Jays here in the first set.
3 kills already for Antonea V.C. Smith.
And a Lesson will serve. Lesson's been one of the more interesting stories of the season for Elmhurst. Opened the year as a back row player, defensive specialist. Well, she's made her way up front now of late.
Julie Hall called her the kind of player you need on the court at all times, both for her defense, but she can help you offensively as well. An all-conference selection last year. That combination can help you defensively in the back, but can also go up and swing and put them down from the outside.
12-11, and a lift on the Whitewater side. Perry Morgan stepping back. First set of play tonight in Elmhurst. Morgan, the junior libero for the Blue Jays. And an opening on the left side. Sanchez puts down the kill for Whitewater. And again, the Warhawks have an opportunity to try and tie the score here in set number 1. Pretty short serve. Morgan is there. Reynolds winds up in the middle.
Plenty of time. Great look for Megan Reynolds. Open floor in front of her, and she puts it away.
200 kills for Megan Reynolds on the year. Tops on this Elmhurst squad. Reynolds all year has been one of the more prolific hitters in the CCIW. Currently second in hitting percentage. Sitting 7th in kills. That's stuffed. Airborne for Buss. Zarmak winds up. On the scene is Troutman. Short attempt from Sanchez. Kept alive. Reynolds has a go. That's blocked. Jumped at the net. Reynolds again. Kept alive by Nobilio. Right place, right time for Nobilio. Able to just get enough to keep it alive, and Zarmak sends it into the net.
Bad send that time from Elmhurst there, and Thildus left that one too short for Zarmak towards the net. Whitewater wins a very good rally. Elmhurst had several chances to put that one away, but the Warhawks were up to the challenge each time.
Sophia Sanchez, senior for Wisconsin Whitewater, one of only 3 on the roster.
Another double hit called on Phil, and now we're even up at 14.
Sanchez hailing from Janesville, Wisconsin. Into the net, the first service error of the night. Wisconsin Whitewater 3-1 in the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Elmhurst 2-2 in the CCIW. Still early in the year yet. Morgan off the rafters and down.
Not much you can do on that one. It was in. Blue Jays were in position, but it would actually hit the light on the top of the ceiling, Tim. Rolled over the light fixture, and that's where it came down for UW Whitewater.
On serve is Kelly Troutman. And it's an ace.
Oh, it's going down the line. Tough play, tough read for the Blue Jays. Armack takes a shot at it, but can't get any control. Not sure if that would have stayed in or gone out, but a very tough one to judge there if you're Elmhurst.
30th ace of the year for Troutman. Tops on the Whitewater squad. Over. And missed. But they'll say Elmhurst was in the net on the swing into the over and a timeout. Momentum with Whitewater leading 17-15 in the first. As the Blue Jays held a 15-14 advantage prior to 3 consecutive now from the visitors out of Wisconsin. Looking at the upcoming schedule for the Blue Jay volleyball team. Kevin mentioned they'll be in Wisconsin this weekend, taking part in the Wisconsin Platteville tournament. And on Tuesday, they will be at Wheaton in volleyball action. And then welcoming North Park on October 18th. That's the next chance to catch the Blue Jays here on Blue Jay TV. Conversation going on during the timeout between the officials here and the linesmen as well. Troutman serving out of the stoppage for Whitewater with a 17-15 advantage in the first set. Right down the middle. Phil sets it up for Reynolds, who aims short. 3 Whitewater players were there, but it dropped in the middle of them as no one took control on the defensive end.
It's great recognition that time by Megan Reynolds. Realizing how many players were there for the block, she just tips it right over the top, and nobody in the back there for the Warhawks.
Reynolds up the right edge. Winding up is Lilge. And the Blue Jays have tied it, consecutive points out of the timeout.
It was a break that time for Elmhurst, so he went off the Whitewater block, skied up over the back row. No chance for any of the defensive row players for the Warhawks.
Megan Reynolds serving for Elmhurst. Swatted over in the middle. Here comes V.C. Smith off of the bench. What a spot.
V.C. Smith having a heck of an opening set for the Blue Jays, at least her 4th kill already. Great target that time by V.C. Smith as Elmhurst has won 3 straight points, and a timeout now by UW-Whitewater.
Some finesse as well for V.C. Smith, located in the right spot. I'm Tim Calderwood with you alongside Kevin Jude for volleyball action tonight here on Blue Jay TV. Non-conference showdown between a pair of nationally ranked opponents. First set of action. Megan Reynolds out of the timeout, serving for Elmhurst, who has recorded 3 straight. Set up in the middle, blocked. Wilkes and V.C. Smith were there. And on the left edge, it's Lilge.
Off the Elmhurst block that time.
Perry Morgan, the target of the serve. Marcy Novak winds up strong. Phil with a jump set for Wilkes, short. And the Blue Jays are again in control. A lot of back and forth action here in the first set. A little bit of a set there. Morgan targets V.C. Smith. My goodness. And off the ceiling, falling on the Blue Jay half.
2 bad breaks this one for the Blue Jays. The rafters have not been very friendly. V.C. Smith unloading, but a fantastic dig in the back by UW-Whitewater, keeping that play alive. The Warhawks catching a break as the Blue Jays pass goes off the speaker and down. Now he's got to race to 6.
19 aside. Still for V.C. Smith. And Antonia V.C. Smith yet again for Elmhurst on the left side.
V.C. Smith is feeling it right now for the Blue Jays. She'll come out for Hannah Lesson, who's in to serve. at least her 5th kill already in the opening set.
Lesson with a little bit of a punch serve. Trudging ahead is Sanchez. Lesson there defensively. Here's Wilkes in the middle. Troutman there.
Free opportunity here for the Blue Jays.
Zarmak, yes.
Off the block of BC. Elmhurst inching ever so close now in this opening set. Still just a 2-point match, though.
Johnston ends the run.
Elmhurst would love to get a side out right here, get back on serve, and have that 2-point lead again. Whitewater trying to tie it up.
Ariel Johnston. Their team trailing 21-20. Back set towards Rasmussen. Will lead Zarmak ahead. Diving dig there. Zarmak again stuffed. Wilkes short. A little miscommunication at the net. Ends up on the Elmhurst side. Winding up is Sanchez. In.
Very close on that line. Blue Jays wanted that one to go the other way. Or did we reverse it?
Well, the linesman pointed in. And it looks like now they are turning it around.
So it is an Elmhurst point. 22-20. And Perry Morgan back to serve.
That, though, is in, definitely.
That one's clearly in right on the back line. Now we've got a great vantage point from up here. No arguments on that one.
Wisconsin-Whitewater, traditionally one of the powers in Division III volleyball. Head coach Stacy Boudreau won a championship in her first year, 2005. Came back the next season and finished 3rd in the nation. Thill behind her to Morgan. Rasmussen waits, winds up with a right hand, and despite being out of position, ends up with a kill.
Good effort by the Blue Jays. Rasmussen putting it in a great spot. Whitewater stuck with it the whole way, but unable to get control and get it back over the net. Timeout called by Boudreau as the Blue Jays within 2 points of taking the opening set. 23-21. Official going to have a chat with the linesman once again. Couple calls. Seen a couple conferences and a couple reversal. One reversal already in the early going here.
Well, the first set is usually one of the most important ones, the opportunity to set the tone for the matchup. Certainly for the Blue Jays here at home against a program they've traditionally struggled against.
I believe that Julie Hall is still looking for her first career win against Whitewater. Could be wrong, but not in my time frame here at Elmhurst, Tim, have the Blue Jays had a victory against them, and this is my 10th season.
A down official over talking to the Whitewater bench here. Probably just to confirm that was the second timeout of the set taken by the visiting Warhawks.
Elmhurst would love to get this point right here, go have 3 opportunities.
How about a block?
Megan Reynolds and Sam Zarmak right there for the Blue Jays, and down it goes, and Elmhurst has 3 set point.
24-21. It's Marcy Novak serving short. Stepping up on the left side, Sanchez into the antenna, and set 1 belongs to the Blue Jays. 25-21. A back and forth opener. Elmhurst in control early here at home. We'll have the second set in moments on Blue Jay TV. Ready for the second set in Elmhurst. Tim Calder alongside Kevin Judy. Now, Kevin, I noticed you received a high five on your way back up here.
Yeah, the UW Whitewater fans are a friendly bunch down there. You want a high five? I'm happy to oblige you.
I am noticing we got a witch's hat, a cowboy hat, and a winter hat. Well, you definitely don't need the winter hat today, that's for sure.
And no shirts.
No service, as they say. We will have a service here in moments to begin the second set. Aaron Thill will open on serve for the Blue Jays, who took the opener, 25-21. Thill, the junior out of Freeport, with a fairly deep serve. Whitewater has some problems. Sanchez retreats and just zaps it over. In the middle is Wilkes.
Well, a free ball opportunity for the Blue Jays. Whitewater with some handling issues off the serve, and Caitlin Wilkes wide open right down the middle, nothing but open court in front of her, and she buries it.
Sanchez evens it up.
They get tapped off the Blue Jay block just a little bit, maybe from my vantage point. Maybe redirected just slightly enough to mix up the Blue Jays back row.
Ariel Johnson first to serve for Whitewater here in the second. Targeting Zarmak. Wilkes a little out of position. Lesson just pushes it over the net. Short set there. Lesson dives in. Zarmak, left edge. And it's swatted around by BC. BC sets it in the air, feeding it to the setter, Bus. Nice rally here, short from Rasmussen. Wilkes winds up, that's over. Thill towards Rasmussen again. Dinged around off of Johnson and out.
Great rally that time. The Blue Jays able to get the point. Probably the longest rally we've seen of the match so far. Both teams with some opportunities, but good defense.
Two to one Elmhurst. And a lift on the set from Bus. Bus on the year, 572 assists. Far and away the top number for Whitewater, over 10 a set. Kim Fry is second. 3-1 Elmhurst with the lead. Thill from the set slot. Alert from Bauer. Wilkes just over the net and dropped down by Firetag.
Aerial Firetag. Perfect positioning that time. Wilkes didn't have much on the hit. Firetag just went up right at the net, touched it right back over and down.
Big presence in the middle for Whitewater, 6'3". Wasn't on the floor for a lot of that first set. And a rotation issue.
Yep. Julie Hall asking for an explanation from the down official.
So a free point basically for Whitewater to tie it here in the second set, 3 apiece. Rasmussen fires. Sanchez short. Diving in is Zarmak, and in the middle it's Wilkes for the Blue Jays.
Nice job by Caitlin Wilkes to fight it down through the block.
A 4-3 advantage for Elmhurst here in set number 2. Perry Morgan with a deep serve. On the left side is Sanchez. Sanchez has been big for Whitewater today. 211 kills on the season. Top number on the squad. And now she'll be serving for the Warhawks into the net. Marcy Novak enters. And it's Novak serving. Nearly an ace. Easy in the middle for Reynolds. On the scene is Lilge. And into the net on the attempt from Sanchez in the back row. Left side, Lilge has a go. Reynolds off the blockers, and a lift is called.
By Reynolds, just kind of firing that one down, almost not quite a catch in midair, but almost what that motion looked like there.
And pretty much straight down as well.
Firing it into the blockers, and an absolute lift call was below the waist, open palm.
Lilge back from whence it came. Jump ball in the net. Won by the Warhawks in Heidi Buss. Troutman serving for the Warhawks. Here's Reynolds. Blocked. Zarmak over the top. Lilge has it stuffed again in the net. Megan Reynolds for Elmhurst. We've talked about her hitting prowess. Well, Reynolds is very strong at the net as well. In fact, she's the CCIW leader in blocks this year. Other ideas for Ariel Johnston, posting the side out. Heidi Buss to serve. Targeting Zarmak in the back row. Reynolds will step up and drop it in.
Megan Reynolds, she can go up and she can slam them down, she can block, but she's also very, very smart, Tim. She knows when to just go over that block and can recognize the open space, recognize the holes in the defense, and she's been taking advantage of that so far tonight against the Warhawks.
Buss leads Johnson. Never cleared the net. Spun at the top, but came back on the Whitewater half. A 9-6 Elmhurst lead. Megan Reynolds, too much there. V.C. Smith, who had a huge first set. Denied on her first chance of the second. Sanchez off the diving Morgan.
Nice job by Sanchez. Just saw the opening down the line, targeting the line. Morgan gave it a good effort, but not enough to be able to bring that back up towards the middle.
Stacy Bedreau wants to check the score here. They'll go to the book and confer. A nod of the head.
Don't see any adjustments to the scoreboard. Nope. Saying going to stay 10-8.
Still feeds Wilkes. And Whitewater was in the net on the block attempt. Returning is Taylor Rasmussen, sophomore from Iowa. One of two players on the Elmhurst roster hailing from the Hawkeye State. Still will scamper ahead. In the middle, it's Johnston off the blockers and into a wide open space.
Big hole on the Blue Jays defense that time. Johnson able to see it and put it away. Bring the Warhawks back to within 2. Biggest lead in either set for either team has been 3 points.
V.C. Smith friendly roll.
Sometimes it's just going your way, and it seems to be going that her way tonight for Antonia Vesey-Smith.
Wilkes. And in the middle, the honors belong to Fire Tag.
Fire Tag fighting it off the block of Caitlin Wilkes. Pulls Whitewater within a point at 11-10.
Fire Tag, a freshman. One of two freshmen in the regular rotation for Whitewater. Here's Vesey-Smith. Johnston on the scene. Sanchez converts with authority in that matter. Tied at 11. And into the net on the service from Johnston.
Well, in a matchup of two nationally ranked teams, neither one wants to just hand the other team free points. The Blue Jays, with a rotation error earlier, gave them a free point. Now Whitewater returns the favor. Service errors can be very costly in close matches.
Pretty short from Lesson. Sanchez fires.
Well,
my goodness.
Antonia Vesey-Smith's been the hot hand for the Blue Jays, and it's been Sanchez swinging at will from the outside for the Warhawks. With outside hitters heating up for their respective teams as we're even up at 12.
Kelsey Nobilio. The other freshman I was alluding to moments ago. Kept alive by the Warhawks. Short on the Fire Tag try. Zarmak converts.
Kind of a hitter's dream out there tonight. There have been so many power swings from both of these squads in the early going.
Perry Morgan up the middle. Left edge, Sanchez eases it home here. And we're even at 13. Morgan handles the serve. Rasmussen steps up, clears the blockers. Diving stop from Nobilio.
Oh, that looked really close to off the floor. A fantastic dive.
How about twice in a row for Whitewater? Lesson will just set it ahead.
That looks like it's a make-up right there. I think either one of those could have been called. You see head coach Stacey Boudreau screaming that she wanted a 4, and now a yellow card has been shown to Stacey Boudreau. She thought that the Blue Jays thought that originally that they had the kill down on the floor, and then Boudreau thought Elmhurst had a 4, never cleared the net on the one dig attempt. But nonetheless, a point for the Blue Jays, and it comes right back to UW Whitewater after the kill, and we're even up at 14.
Second set in Elmhurst. Kelly Troutman serving, and side out to Elmhurst. Sam Zarmak stepping back. Bus short towards Lilji, who sets it over. Zarmak from the back row. Lilji is there. Here comes Lilji again offensively at Vesey-Smith. Now in the middle, Reynolds down.
Very tough shot for Megan Reynolds, almost changing direction in midair. Looked like she was going to go wide and then saw the opening in the middle. Dumps it in, 16-14 Blue Jays.
Two straight for Elmhurst. Zarmak now serving. Short on the go from Lilji.
Way too big of a hole in Elmhurst defense that time, and Leanna Lilji just picks him apart for the side out and kill for the Warhawks.
Sarah Bisi returns. Vesey-Smith will set it ahead. Whitewater has evened it up, 16 apiece. Cycling it forward is Heidi Buss. Tapped by Phil and just missed. So now Whitewater has taken control and a timeout for Elmhurst. 17-16 the score in the second set.
This is a similar spot to where the Blue Jays were in the first set. They were up, then they were down. Julie Hall burned a timeout. Elmhurst took 3 straight out of the timeout and ended up taking the first set. Let's see what happens here.
Next broadcast here on Blue Jay TV comes October 15th. Next Saturday, football. Elmhurst against the upstart Illinois Wesleyan University Titans. Illinois Wesleyan knocking off Wheaton last weekend, moving into the top 25 this week. It'll be a challenge for Elmhurst.
Homecoming for the Blue Jays as well next weekend.
Elmhurst this week is on the road at Wheaton Saturday afternoon. Another challenge there as well. Certainly aren't any easy ones in the CCIW, and really that holds true for not just football, but any sport. Whitewater with the lead, 17-16, second set. The Warhawks in the purple out of the timeout. Heidi Buss serving.
Blue Jays want a quick side out and regain control off their own serve.
V.C. Smith, deep. Short attempt from Lil G, jumping again. Johnston pokes it to the back corner. Reynolds short herself, kept off the floor by the diving Troutman, but no help around.
Reynolds again, great. She's been really good with just those little tips, little drop-ins so far tonight, Tim. Just picking her spots.
Out comes the towel on the Whitewater side. Elmhurst serving, and an ace. Megan Reynolds.
Good time for an ace for the Blue Jays, and Reynolds reclaiming the lead at 18-17.
Reynolds again. Lil G connects. Into serve, Alyssa Bauer. Phil towards Wilkes. Right-sided swatted off of the attempt from BC. Knocked over by Troutman. V.C. Smith steps up, scattering the Whitewater bench. And as if they don't get to know each other on the practice floor, they got to know each other here in Elmhurst.
V.C. Smith with another monster swing from the outside. Credit Kelly Troutman for keeping that play alive even before that. On the play before, she had a fantastic dig.
Aaron Thill. Back towards Sanchez. Zarmak retreats. V.C. Smith clears the screen. Johnston short. And Johnston with a swing in the middle.
Exactly the exact same spot where we were in the opening set, Tim. Tied at 19 before Elmhurst took control. Once again, we've got a race to 6.
And into the net.
And another poorly timed mistake by UW Whitewater, a service error, free point for the Blue Jays. Put the point on the wrong side of the scoreboard, though.
Back towards BC. Punches at it. Wilkes will steer it over the net. Sanchez with a drive, never cleared.
And much like the opening set, Elmhurst takes a 2-point lead, and Whitewater forced to burn their second timeout.
21-19, Elmhurst with the lead in set number 2. Trying to jump ahead 2 sets to none after winning the opener 25-21. Tim Calderwood with you alongside Kevin Jude in this non-conference volleyball matchup. Some of the opponents for Wisconsin Whitewater this year. They went down to Illinois Wesleyan over the weekend and took care of a pair of CCIW foes in Illinois Wesleyan and North Central in 4 sets apiece. We mentioned early on they were upended by Carthage. They also took on Wheaton and won in 4 sets. So they've played almost the entire CCIW during the 2011 campaign. Sanchez winds up. Wilkes in the middle, too deep.
Kalen Wilkes saw the block coming, wanted to go over the top of it, but just too much. Skied it out of bounds over the back row. Better off just take a swing at that one, try to fight it through the block. Instead, a free point for the Warhawks brings them to within 1.
Kelsey Nobilio with the Warhawk fans in attendance making some noise. And a block for Whitewater on the right side. Fire, tag, and bus. $21 apiece.
First 1 to 4 wins now. Still got to win by 2.
Phil leads Rasmussen. And it's 22-21 Elmhurst.
Rasmussen on the lows, but just kind of ate up Kelly Troutman on the back row. You saw it go right off of her shoulder more than anything else and into the stands. Elmhurst gets the point back on serve.
Perry Morgan serving.
And a free ball opportunity coming here for the Blue Jays.
Pretty good position, though, from Bauer on the attempt. Backing up the Blue Jays. Here's Sanchez with a swing. Phil feeds Reynolds, who swats. Buss will attack from the set slot. Reynolds again. Sanchez blocked. Oh, no, it went out. So it's Sanchez with a kill to tie it at 22.
Right on top of us. Hard from our angle to see if that one was in or out. And the line judge right on top, the official right on top of that as well. Immediately calling that one out. Blue Jays going to mop up the floor here a little bit, slow the pace down just a touch.
Always a good tactic.
Sanchez to serve for the Warhawks.
Phil leads Reynolds, just missed. 23-22 Whitewater.
Went for the back corner and just sent it long. Timeout Julie Hall. And now the Warhawks in position here, pulling out in front here in this opening or in this second set.
They've had a back and forth matchup so far through the first set and now the second set as well. Elmhurst spending a timeout here, trying to recover. Blue Jays have been very good on the non-conference slate. Only 2 non-conference losses to Wisconsin Oshkosh and also to the University of Chicago. Oshkosh is in the same conference as Whitewater.
They also have a win against UW Oshkosh earlier on the year.
Two teams have not met here in 2011 of yet. The only WIAC loss for Whitewater was at the hands of Stevens Point, the first ever loss to Stevens Point for head coach Stacy Boudreau. 24-22 is set point for Whitewater. Trying to even up the contest. Hill to the left side. Zarmak swings and extends it a little bit.
Blue Jays fight off for the first of 2 set points. We'll have to fight off one more here.
Marcy Novak is in to serve. On the left side, it's Lilji. Phil races it down, and it's in from Zarmak to tie it up 24 apiece.
Back-to-back kills from Sam Zarmak from the outside.
Timeout Whitewater.
So the Blue Jays fight off the first 2 set points for UW Whitewater. Knot this one up at 24 apiece.
This is the only matchup in the CCIW tonight. This weekend, Elmhurst heads to Wisconsin-Platteville. Augustana will also be there, in addition to Carthage. Wheaton will be hosting a tournament this weekend. North Park will head to Concordia, Chicago. Illinois Wesleyan is in Indiana at Anderson, and Milliken will take on Wash U in a matchup of some pretty solid nationally ranked foes. Milliken, the defending CCIW champions, knocked off the Blue Jays here earlier this year in 4 sets. 24 apiece in the second. Elmhurst up a set. Marcy Novak serving and an ace.
Communication on the back row for UW Whitewater. Novak with the ace, and now the Blue Jays with a set point.
Changing things up are the Warhawks. Chelsea Mutton is in. First appearance tonight. Set point for the Blue Jays. They'll immediately attack. Mutton. Was it tipped? It was not. Whitewater thought so. And a finger is being wagged by the linesman at Stacy Boudreau. Second set to the Blue Jays. 26-24.
The far side line judge clearly not going to have the position for that call. In fact, it was right in front. If anyone's got the positioning for it, it's the up referee.
They'll talk about it briefly as the teams will change sides, and the third set comes your way in a bit on Blue Jay TV. Well, an exciting end to the second set for Elmhurst. Down 24-22, registering 4 consecutive points to take the second set, 26-24. Not without some controversy at the end, however. Stacy Boudreau on the Whitewater side was less than pleased with the call that ended that second set. But it's Elmhurst in front, 2-0 at home, seeking just their 5th ever victory over Wisconsin-Whitewater. Hannah Lesson with the first attempt of the third. Sanchez for Whitewater puts the visiting Warhawks on the board. It's Alyssa Bauer serving for the Warhawks. Very short and not over the net.
Elmhurst will gladly take any free points. The Warhawks want to send... I think that's the 4th or 5th service error of the match against UW Whitewater.
Hannah Lesson serving for Elmhurst. Johnston punches in the middle off of Rasmussen.
Oh, it almost looked like it caught Rasmussen by surprise a little bit.
Two to 1, Whitewater with the advantage. Ariel Johnston back to serve. Zarmak on the left side, ties it up. Talk about the impact that Sam Zarmak has been able to record in her first year on the Elmhurst campus.
Zarmak, a very impressive start to her freshman campaign. Julie Hall really liked her coming out of high school. Thought she would make an immediate impact, and that she has for the Blue Jays.
116 kills entering play tonight, sitting fourth on the team.
And she did miss a handful of matches early on in the season as well with an injury. Has come on strong, giving the Blue Jays that outside force that they were kind of looking for.
Kelsey Nobilio serving for Whitewater. Morgan waits for a moment before taking control. Winding up is Sanchez, wide left. 3 apiece. Marcy Novak is in, and a change at the setter slot as Katie Rufer will come take the place of Erin Thill. First appearance for Rufer, the sophomore from Batavia. A lot of Batavia natives on hand here tonight cheering on Rufer. Short serve from Novak. Sanchez. And Elmhurst in the net. Now there's some discussion about this point. They do award it to Whitewater. Sanchez serving. Rufer to the back row for Norvac. Short. Rufer in the middle for Reynolds. Pushed around. Rufer to the left side, Zarmak. Jumped around, Zarmak called for a lift.
Good positioning by UW Whitewater defensively. They were there waiting for Zarmak to try the little dump over that time. Picked it up well, and the Warhawks got another free opportunity after Elmhurst kind of wasted the 3-ball opportunity.
And it's an ace.
Low sinking serve, a little too much for Perry Morgan to handle, and the Warhawks jump out to their biggest lead of any set. That's 6-3.
Rufer leads Reynolds, who says enough of that.
That's how you end a run there. Megan Reynolds goes up and just pounds it down into the back corner.
(6-4) Whitewater in the third, down 2 sets and on. Lil G taps it. Rufer steers with the right hand. Morgan in the back row, airborne. Rufer does her best. Zarmak will just set it over and miss.
Whitewater gets a little break. I think the original shot was going to go long over the back row. Perry Morgan picked it up, and then Katie Rufer having to race over to try to get a set up. Like you said, Tim, Rufer just doing her best with that one. Got it up, but the Blue Jays fire it out.
Troutman awaiting a volleyball. Rufer feeds Reynolds.
Megan Reynolds, a short set from Rufer to Reynolds in the middle, and she's got nothing but open court in front of her.
Easy does it. Reynolds just a sophomore for the Blue Jays. Elmhurst, an extremely young program as well, taking some huge strides forward this year. Ranked for the second consecutive week. There's not a single senior on this Elmhurst roster.
Getting a win earlier this year against a nationally ranked team. That was Wartburg when the Blue Jays defeated them at the University of Chicago tournament.
8-5 Whitewater. Johnston. Morgan dives in. Wilkes at the net. Yes!
Good recovery by Elmhurst on the back row. Kept alive. And Caitlin Wilkes able to hammer it home.
Aaron Thill serving here in the third. And it's an ace for Thill.
Sanchez couldn't handle it. An ace for Aaron Thill. And the Blue Jays pulled it within a point.
Aaron Thill, fifth in the CCIW in aces this year. Elmhurst smack dab in the middle, fourth as a team. Johnston winds up and a whole lot of open space there.
Yeah, you can't get the Blue Jays defensively, can't allow that. Too easy of a look for Johnston right down the middle.
Serving is Alyssa Bauer. Thill leads Wilkes.
One kill right down the middle, gets another kill right down the middle. First was Johnson for the Warhawks. This time it's Wilkes for Elmhurst. And back to a 1-point set lead for the Warhawks.
And Alessin steps back on the floor. The sophomore out of Bloomington, Illinois, serving. Elmhurst within one here in the third, and stuffed! Zarmak at the net.
Zarmak with the solo block, just rejecting him that time, and we're even up at 9.
Lesson again, relatively short. Sanchez steps up.
Fights through the Elmhurst block to put it to the floor. Whitewater back on top. Been on top most of this, the early going in this third set. Had a 3-point lead before Elmhurst tied it, and they've taken it back after the Sanchez kill.
Rasmussen into the middle. Sanchez. And it's two straight for the Warhawks. Well, I guess one costume group begets another, right? Now some Elmhurst fans have come out trying to flank the Whitewater fans directly behind them. The 11-10 the count.
Blue Jay fans didn't want to be outdone by the Warhawk fans tonight.
I think that might be either via text message or, oh my goodness, let me quick run back to my dorm room and change.
Was it touched or not? No indication, so a point for the Blue Jays as it flies out of bounds. 11-11 now.
Got a jester in a V for Vendetta mask. The 11 apiece. Perry Morgan on serve for the Blue Jays. Big points here, and a double hit called on the set attempt from Buss.
We expected this match to be tight, and we have seen it that way every single set, Tim. 25-21, 26-24, and we're 12-11 now in the third.
It's over and off the antenna on this set.
Blue Jays were down 9-6, and now a 7-2 run for Elmhurst, and they're up by 2. One more point, I think Stacey Boudreau is going to call that timeout.
Perry Morgan, though, misses on the serve.
Instead, the Blue Jays, Morgan trying to put it deep, instead serves it too long. Stacey Boudreau will keep that timeout in her pocket instead.
Elsie Nobilio is in and serving for Whitewater. Reynolds connects.
Megan Reynolds is so powerful off that quick short set. Just goes up and snaps it down and just firing down, and Whitewater not able to get in position in time. Back to a 2-point Elmhurst lead.
Enter Katie Rufer again off of the bench for the Blue Jays. Up 2. Nobilio has a go. Reynolds in the middle.
Katie Rufer found Reynolds, and let's see if that will get Stacey Boudreau up. Yes, it is. 3-point lead. Timeout Whitewater.
Boy, Megan Reynolds has just kind of taken over here late in this match. 15-12. Elmhurst in front trying to sweep the 22nd ranked Warhawks from Wisconsin Whitewater.
Well, and you've seen a pretty balanced attack so far, too, Tim, from the Blue Jays. Offensively, you've had Megan Reynolds doing a lot. Great match so far for Antonia V.C. Smith, especially early on in the opening and second set. And Sam Zarmak's had plenty of great looks. And don't forget, Caitlin Wilkes has had her share of kills, too, for Elmhurst.
Coming up this week into CCIW, Elmhurst heads to Wheaton. We talked about that contest. Carthage at Milliken. Matchup of the CCIW leaders. Illinois Wesleyan at North Park and Augustana at North Central on Tuesday. Whitewater spending a timeout here in the third. Trailing 2-0. Stacy Novak listens to the advice from the Elmhurst bench, nods her head in agreement, and she'll restart play. Stepping up is Sofia Sanchez for the side out. I think that's perhaps where we've seen a difference, really, between Whitewater and Elmhurst. We talked about Reynolds, but V.C. Smith has been strong for the Blue Jays. Caitlin Wilkes as well. Really, for Whitewater, well, most of their points have come from Sofia Sanchez.
A double hit called on Roofer, and so Whitewater within a point now.
(15-14). Sanchez serving. Zarmak up and down. (16-14) Elmhurst. Zarmak with the kill moments ago. Now serving as well for the Blue Jays. Stands deeper than any individual. Comes racing up. V.C. Smith bails her out, and Roofer sets it over. From the set slot, Buss with a huge opening.
Great effort by the Blue Jays, but Buss able to put it away for UW Whitewater.
16-15. Kelly Troutman serving. She does own an ace so far today. Reynolds, short. Johnson in the middle, missed it. (17-15) Elmhurst. Winding up is Lilji. V.C. Smith in amongst the spectators. Johnson in the middle. Denied. Lilji again. Here's V.C. Smith. Never worked its way over the net.
Good look for Elmhurst, but V.C. Smith unable to connect on the outside. Keeps this one a one-point match now with a point for the Warhawks. And like we said, this one is as tight as humanly possible this whole way.
17-16 the score. It's Buss on serve. V.C. Smith converts. Big day for the junior from Joliet. 18-16 Elmhurst in the third, attempting to sweep Wisconsin Whitewater. Here's Roofer. Down by Lauren Grant, who was in for the first time. Grant, a sophomore out of Antioch for Wisconsin Whitewater. Grant with only 48 kills this year in 10 matches. But in this one, V.C. Smith. And it hits the antenna, just glances apiece. Tied up at 18.
Well, it was tied at 19 in each of the first two sets, and now we're tied at 18 here in the third.
Morgan to an E. Back is Wilkes.
Yes. But the top of the net, not the antenna on the way down.
19-18 Elmhurst. Would only be fitting if Whitewater would tie it at 19 apiece here in the third. Sanchez with that in mind. Does. 19 apiece.
Wow. Well, we said it's been pretty even, and there you go again. All three sets tied at 19. Once again, it's a race to 6.
Stepping right is Johnston. Slapping at it. Zarmak converts. 20-19 Elmhurst.
Good recognition by Sam Zarmak. Saw a big hole behind the block, just goes over the top of it. Doesn't try to power it down. Over the top, 20-19. Elmhurst back on top.
Out comes the towel on the Whitewater side. Perry Morgan, the libero out of Avon, Indiana. Here's the jump at the net. Blocked. Reynolds and Zarmak for the Blue Jays. 21-19.
Two great things for Elmhurst on that one. Great serve by Perry Morgan. Whitewater had to take it up practically off the ground, and then Reynolds unloads on the block with Whitewater out of position after having to field the original serve from Perry Morgan.
Jump ball at the net. Converted by Rasmussen.
Blue Jays within 3 points now of this match. Let's see if Stacy Boudreau calls the second and final timeout. She will.
22-19. Elmhurst up 3 in the third, attempting to sweep. So we told you about the upcoming CCIW schedule. Here are the standings. Carthage and Milliken 4-0. And then a tight battle. Elmhurst, Wheaton, North Central 2-2. Illinois Wesleyan, Augustana 1-3, and North Park 0-4. North Park is actually over 500 with a 9-8 mark thus far in 2011. Their crack at a CCIW victory will come on Tuesday at home against Illinois Wesleyan. CCIW very strong volleyball-wise, top to bottom. Only one team overall under 500. That is Augustana. Carthage has been in the top 10 a majority of the season. Milliken and Elmhurst have been there in the top 25 as well throughout this 2011 season, which we can now say officially has crossed into the second half. 22-19, Elmhurst with the lead in the third, up 2 sets. Harry Morgan up the right edge.
Blue Jays going to get a 3-ball opportunity right here.
Bauer over. Roofer in the middle for Reynolds. 23-19.
4 straight points for Elmhurst. It was 19-19, and the Blue Jays have come out firing.
Perry Morgan takes her time. And an ace. Brings up a match point for the Blue Jays.
Elmhurst just seems like they really, really want this one right now, Tim. A lot of emotion. You can see it on the court for the Blue Jays. 5 match points for Elmhurst.
Morgan into the middle. On the left side, Sanchez keeps the match moving for the time being.
Not over yet. Sanchez tucks it just inside that corner. Fights off the first. Elmhurst had to fight off 2 set points in the second. Whitewater's going to have to fight off 5 match points here in the third. They just knocked off the first. But Elmhurst has 4 more match points.
Abilio serving. Roofer with a back set towards Rasmussen. Game, set, match Elmhurst. A sweep of the 22nd ranked Warhawks from Wisconsin Whitewater. 25-21, 26-24, And 25-20 the scores for the Blue Jays here at home. Perhaps playing a bit with the proverbial chip on the shoulder, coming through with a big victory and just the 5th in program history over Wisconsin Whitewater. A big, big win for Elmhurst here tonight, Kevin.
Absolutely, Tim. Julie Hall, that might be her first career victory ever against UW Whitewater as the Blue Jays pretty much took care of business late in the sets, which has been a little bit of a struggle for them at times this year. This time, no problems whatsoever. Elmhurst, they were all 3 sets tied at 19, but the Blue Jays take care of business and step up their game when they needed to late in each of the sets, fighting off 2 set points in the second and then just running away with it down the stretch run here in this third one. After being tied at 19, Elmhurst outscores them 6-1 down the stretch. Big nights for Megan Reynolds and Antonia Vesey-Smith, Caitlin Wilkes, and Sam Zarmak, all with tremendous opportunities, some good offensive numbers, I'm sure, from them.
It's a 2-0 week so far with 4 matches upcoming this weekend in Wisconsin at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Elmhurst on this season is now 15-4, while Whitewater dips to 15-5. That'll put the finishing touches on our broadcast here tonight. Elmhurst sweeping Wisconsin-Whitewater. For our entire crew at R.A. Faginal Hall on the campus of Elmhurst College. And for my partner, Kevin Jude, I'm Tim Calderwood. Thanks for watching.